Welcome, everyone, to episode 45 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. It's the Jordan episode. The Jordan, wearing the 4-5. That's the only number I know him by. We are going to do things a little bit differently this time around. We're going to be starting off, because we are a little bit far behind. Whose fault is it? Probably mine. But we are a little bit further behind, and we're going to talk about everything that's going on with the Bloodline. Wade, I know that you have some strong feelings about the way that things are being handled right now, and some strong feelings about Jey Yeet Uso. So let's just dive right into it. So we were talking earlier, and you were saying that you believe that they never had any intention of Jey Uso even getting a title run. So why don't you talk about that?
I don't think there's any way that when that tag team split up, that it wasn't like a Montez Ford with the Street Profits where he had everybody talking like, oh, that guy needs a solo run, this and that, and where they did successful test runs of him having a solo run. I don't think anybody in the company was like, oh yeah, Jay's going to be one of the most popular guys. Like, his merchandise is going to do crazy numbers. I just don't think that was the case. But when it became the case, I think at some point they felt they had to reward him by, letting him have a big moment. And even so, it's like if they were going to do that, I think it should have been at a PLE. Personally, I can't imagine how much money he's made the company with merchandise sales.
Yeah.
And he's just one of the most popular guys for sure. I mean, there's no disputing that. But still, that was a great crowd for him to win it at. They were going nuts. Great match. Enjoyed the match. But if they were going to reward him for that, I think they could have rewarded him further by doing it at a PLE event, personally. And then just to have him drop it a few weeks later for this storyline, that title wasn't needed for the storyline for it to be. They could have cost him some other way. I don't know.
How could they have cost him?
They could have cost him like a match that would have gotten him another opportunity, or like an opportunity at Gunther's title again, or something like that.
What was Jimmy doing prior to their split up to Jey Uso? What was he doing
prior to the split up?
Yeah, he was costing them opportunities. He was costing them title opportunities. So, now this other sect of the Bloodline doing the same thing. I mean, I think it fits with the storyline that was going on prior to it. But I guess what you're saying is he never should have won the title, and he should have gotten a match, and the Bloodline should have interfered. Is that what you're saying?
I like Jay more than you do.
I don't dislike Jay. I like Jay. I just like the Usos. I don't necessarily need him as a singles competitor because I think his moveset is very limited. He has a limited moveset. I mean, it is what it is. He's got like 4 moves, which in some situations you can get away with. But the 4 moves that he has, they're not good enough for me. His super kick is not good enough for me. His Uso splash is fine, but he doesn't have much other than that. It's just very limited.
Yeah, the crowd's always behind him so much. I'm always entertained enough by it and by everything going on. And to your point about what was Jimmy doing to him beforehand, yes, he was costing them opportunities. They could have continued to do that. They didn't have to have him win the title just for it to be, for them to put it back on Breaker 2 weeks later or 3 weeks, whatever it is. And like I said, I just don't think they could have ever imagined he was going to be this popular when he went solo.
Yeah. I mean, the Usos were this popular for a little bit.
No, correct. As a tag team, but we've seen that plenty of times when they split up. But with all that said, I guess if you look at it, what else we were discussing earlier, that if this leads to now Jimmy and Jay, or just Jay costing the Bloodline the tag match against DIY, is that this Friday?
I think so.
coming up, then okay, well maybe it's like a eye for an eye kind of a thing. You cost me the title, we're going to cost y'all the title, and then that'll lead to war games if they don't just do it already. But because that's a feud that does not need titles involved. Yeah. And in fact, I think it's better if none of the parties involved have titles at this point.
I just think that there's precedent for the crowd reaction. I mean, you remember when it wasn't a split up, but when Kofi Mania was going on and the way the crowd reacted to Kofi, I mean, I think that it's analogous to that. If they didn't see it coming, I think that they could have seen it coming at the very least. You think of the popularity of the Usos when they were together. The crowd loves the Usos. My kids, they love Jimmy and Jay as a tag team. I mean, kids loved them. Kids loved the New Day. And then everyone got behind Kofi. And I think that this is analogous to that. They should have planned better. I don't know what type of merch Kofi was doing, but I mean, people had videos, boxes, and stuff like that.
Right, but that was still a lot of that. Yes, but
it was still New Day, though. I guess
correct.
I can't think of any specific Kofi merchandise that was being sold off the top of my head. In 5 years from now, I'll remember Yeet glasses and things, but I don't remember.
I mean, I'm sure when we were there were a ton of the Kofi Mania shirts that were sold. A ton of people were wearing them, but yeah, and that's just, the difference. When he was solo, he was still connected with them. They were still a group.
Mm-hmm.
But, I could be way off, but I just the timing of everything seemed really weird. First of all, for the big win to be on a Raw, and then just a few weeks later it to be taken away. It just reeks of on the fly.
What's the next PLE? Crown Jewel?
Yes. Yes. A win, I can't remember, first week in November, maybe?
No, just what is what I'm trying to... Okay, so Crown Jewel's the next pay-per-view. How long ago was it that... Because one of your gripes is when or where he won it, and not on a PLE. And I'm just trying to think of how much time...
And that's nothing on where it was, because that crowd, that they were loud. It was awesome.
Not custom.
It was good moment. Good moment.
Vince made us for years think that titles can't change on a SmackDown or Raw, and we were so accustomed to that. I mean, back in the day, titles used to change all the time on free TV. One of the biggest title changes of all time was Mankind winning on Raw. So
there were a few
used to happen consistently. So I don't know. I'd like to see if they continue to have titles change on Raw, and that might make me, or on SmackDown, either one, that might make me think that this wasn't the plans, but they're never going to come out and say, oh, we never planned for him winning, and we only did it because of the crowd reaction. We're never going to know. So we just have to look to see what happens going forward and see how they handle.
I don't agree with that.
You think we'll find out?
I mean, they may not ever come out directly.
It's an intercontinental title. They're not making like a 24/7 about this.
No. I guess my point is, though, if they were that forthcoming about that, and hey, we had this plan, but because of these factors, we decided to go in another direction. If it was something that monumental, though, that they had planned for a long time, and they had made them call an audible, I just don't think at some point down the line they'd be like, well, yeah, this was the original plan, but we decided to do this, which led to the same end result was always going to be the same. Like once the seeds once it went the way it started going the day after WrestleMania with Jimmy being excommunicated from the group, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. This was going to come to a head at War Games.
Yeah.
With the two factions in some way, shape.
How do you feel about War Games?
I really like it.
But how do you feel about War Games replacing traditional Survivor Series matches?
Oh, no. I like the Survivor Series matches. Yeah. No, I wish it was a
standalone. I wish it was something different because, you and I grew up on watching these traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. Yeah. And I remember guys like The Rock or Rocky Maivia debuting in a traditional Survivor Series match. And I mean, I'm a big fan. I remember Dolph Ziggler, that gutsy 5-on-5 that he had when he was getting a little bit of a push. And
Oh no, and I was about to say one of my favorite wrestling moments was that one where Sting finally came to WWE.
yeah,
That was one of my favorite, wrestling moments.
and they completely just got rid of it. And it's like
Yeah,
no
and
explanation, and it's just gone. There's no reason why you can't have both. Have a
yeah,
War Games pay-per-view. Have War Games at Crown Jewel. There's no reason why you can't have War Games at Crown Jewel. Give us Survivor Series back.
but if recent history is any indicator, I'm sure they will. Look, they're bringing back. They're doing Halloween Havoc. They brought War Games back, and I think at some point, but I think it got to a point it became so stale with some of the matchups they were having that were just like bad. And but yeah, no, I agree. Just a lot of my favorite, and one of my all time favorite matches was at a Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And I know that you're talking about the traditional one, but the first Stone Cold versus Bret Hart match, that's one of my favorite wrestling matches.
Yeah.
And
we had these brand splits, and Survivor Series used to be the time to highlight the brand splits and give opportunities to have matches amongst the two brands, and I just don't feel like we really get that anymore. It makes it seem like Survivor Series used to be the World Series for a little bit, and like in baseball, teams going at it that you wouldn't normally see get to play, and now we don't really get that World Series anymore.
Now, what I will say to that point, I think in terms of roster, the way the rosters are right now, I think you could have multiple phenomenal women's Survivor Series style matches for the NXT brand. That would be, I mean, I could think of two matches off the top of my head that you could easily be like, okay, you're going to put these 4 or 5 against these 4 or 5, and then you could do the same thing. And I mean, I don't think they would have any problem doing that at all. And,
Yeah.
but no, I really enjoyed War Games. I've liked the ones they've had so far. And but yes, I hope at some point they do bring the traditional Survivor Series matches back.
Yeah. A little tangent there, but we all know that we're going to get the Bloodline War Games, but I just wish it was not at Survivor Series. That's all that I'm saying. When does Jay accept Jimmy?
I think this week. Well, okay. Whenever DIY is going against, whenever the match is for the tag titles, whenever that is, I think Jimmy or Jay is going to cost them the titles, and I think that'll lead to a beatdown, and they make the Roman and Jimmy make the save, and then they reconcile.
Okay.
So
when does Roman turn on them?
I don't know if he has to. Anytime
if he has to. When's he gonna? Because he's gonna. This man is no baby face. This man is pure.
Actually, he's a very good baby face now because it's natural now.
He's not a baby face right now. He is.
Yes, he is.
He's a lone wolf. He's a lone wolf. They just don't know it yet. He's a lone wolf. Jimmy and Jay don't realize it. He's still just as selfish as he was before, only thinking about himself.
Well,
only thinking about that.
Well, I'm telling you now, gosh, my expensive hair gel is not working today. Well, it's not going to be until he faces Rock. We're getting this version of him until that's over.
Okay.
And my opinion. So, if they were ever wanted to do another good double turn, I think that feud could be the one to make it happen.
Who turns? Between Rock and Roman?
Yes, put Roman back heel and make Rock the babyface again. I think they could easily do that.
People aren't ready to boo him. I don't know if it would be easy, but they could do it.
I think, okay, maybe not that easy, but I think
people didn't boo him when he was full heel. They loved him.
Yeah, that's true. that is true.
Yeah, I mean, they were wanting to cheer him even when he was going up against Cody Rhodes. Half the crowd, still loving it, it. So I don't know if it would be easy, but I mean, the real double turn needs to be Roman versus Cody. That's, I think.
I don't want to see that again.
But you're gonna see it eventually.
I know. I want to see Rock versus Roman 1-on-1. I don't want the triple threat match. I want to see Rock versus Roman 1-on-1. But I think, again, it's one of those things I just don't know how they're going to. I guess they're going to have to, because the main event of one of those nights is going to be Seth versus Punk, assuming both are healthy. They've already planted the seeds this early on. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be night one's main event.
One's main event? I think you're probably right. I think that he only came back on the pretext that he would get a main event of WrestleMania.
Who, Punk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he knew when he came back. He knew that night 2 was going to be either Rock or Rock and Cody or Rock and Roman, or he knew that coming in. I mean, but yes, no, I agree, and they confirmed that was going to be night one's main event, and I don't. Again, barring injury, I don't see that changing at all.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the champion versus champion matches at Crown Jewel?
Not a fan.
Me either.
Not a fan of the title. Not a fan of what they're trying to do with that. It doesn't make any sense.
Hold on now. That belt is amazing, and I would wear that every day.
You'd start to have pelvis issues. That thing probably weighs about 30 pounds. I mean, it looks... It's very gaudy.
Yes.
It is very gaudy. Not for me.
It'd be going straight to eBay.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of champion versus champion matches, especially ones where there's not going to be a title changing hands and it's just for pride. That doesn't make any sense to me.
But I am glad about one thing, because at first I was angry. I was like, man, they're going to have Gunther lose because of how popular Cody is and everything. And then I was like, wait a second. No, they're not. They're going to have Gunther choke out Cody so he doesn't tap out. He doesn't get pinned. And it's going to be because Kevin Owens does something.
Or
Randy Orton?
No. Think bigger.
Hornswoggle. He just signed a Legends deal.
Or what happens is Brock Lesnar's music hits and it starts the program with Brock. Yes, Riyadh is the perfect place to bring him back. Oh my gosh,
nobody wants to see that again.
I do.
No, they don't. Oh gosh, dude. I just hope they don't do Bill Goldberg intervening and costing Gunther.
I want to see Gunther versus Brock. And I want to see Gunther get the rub.
Oh, you're talking about interfering to help Cody.
Yeah. Well, interfering to attack Gunther. Not to help Cody, just to attack Gunther.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like him starting another feud with Cody. That's what I was talking about.
I don't want to see Cody have any feuds.
We're just kidding, Cody. Please come on here.
I don't want to see him have any feuds. I want him to feud with Dustin Reynolds on AEW.
Oh my gosh. Please stop it. Because I think he seems like a very nice gentleman. And if you hold up a nice sign next time you bring your kids to a show, he may come on here. So...
I mean, he is the nicest guy ever.
Okay.
No, he is. He's the nicest guy ever. That I don't dispute. What I do dispute is that I've reached Cody overload. That's all I'm saying. Everything's the same. I need some more originality, and I'm just not getting it from him right now.
And do you think it's a given that Tiffy cashes in? Considering the randomness of her versus Liv, 2 heels.
Liv's a heel? She seems babyface to me. Probably. I mean, I don't see this being they wait until WrestleMania to have a cash in.
That's not happening.
Needs to happen sooner rather than later. Actually, which is first? WrestleMania or Money in the Bank?
WrestleMania.
Okay, yeah. I don't think this is a wait until WrestleMania type thing. So it needs to happen. Saudi Arabia.
I mean, I'm just thinking because of like, it's not it's not your traditional baby face versus heel. It's like that heel versus heel and the Tiffy not showing up because she was sick to be the tag team partner thing and some of the other stuff. And you got to think it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming. We know it's coming. Just a matter of when.
Well, I mean, yes, but yeah, I don't know why I said it like that. I think it's happening. There have been enough teases, and like this one, her costing her that title, I think is gonna start. Obviously that feud, and I think all roads, maybe not. I was gonna say maybe all roads lead to. I still think it's Tiffy versus Charlotte at Mania.
So
I'm
do
not.
I, and Charlotte takes the title off her. So if you want her to have a run the longest run possible, it would make sense for her to cash in at Riyadh, and then let her have a 6-month title run, and then I just hope they don't have Charlotte win the Royal Rumble. I think that would be a mistake.
Hope in one hand, crap in the other. See what feels like. I guess it's because she's winning the Royal Rumble.
No, I think they're going to let Raquel win the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be Raquel versus Rhea at WrestleMania for the title. She's going to choose to go against Rhea Ripley. You heard it here first. Raquel Rodriguez is going to win the Royal Rumble.
So when do you think Rhea's getting the belt off of Liv?
That might be at Royal Rumble too. Title match at Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Rhea wins, and then Raquel at WrestleMania, and then we get Tiffy versus Charlotte for the other title. But at some point in time, we got to weave Becky back into this because she's not going to AEW. I just refuse to believe that that's happening, and I refuse to believe that she's retiring. So she got to weave her back in. So we got to weave her, and we got to weave Charlotte. At some point in time, we got to start getting the Blacks back in the main event scene. We got to start getting Bianca Belair.
I'm such an idiot. It took a second. I was like, Malachi Black? I was like, what are you talking about?
we got to get Bianca Belair back in the scene if Triple H will allow that. We got to get at some point in time, Jade Cargill, she's going to have to get in that main event scene. It's just going to be such a crowded main event scene here soon. And I think crowded in a good way because when you have more believable champions, that creates for more suspense.
Yes, but I think it's okay on Raw and SmackDown right now, but there's way too much talent in that women's locker room at NXT right now. And there are a lot of people, very good wrestlers, suffering as a result of it. And it's like...
Who's suffering?
You got folks like Tatum Paxley, I think, is further down the card than she needs to be.
What is Tatum Paxley's ceiling? We got to be honest with ourselves. In this company, what is her ceiling? Her ceiling is not women's champion.
NXT women's champion, 100%.
Maybe, but it's not.
No, I'm talking about NXT right now. Just that is a big problem for the women's roster on NXT because they're already uber talented, and then they keep adding awesome wrestlers, and it's like, oh man, just like Lola Vice, Jada Parker, Fallon Henley, and they keep having that crew lose, which is, I don't know what they're doing there, and you've got just so many of them, and then ones that are like, almost ready, like Sol Ruka and some of those women, but then like you've added Julia and the one she's tag teaming with here soon. I think her last name starts with a V.
Stephanie Valkyrie.
Yes. And then they just brought back who just came back. We were just talking about it. Me and you
Nikita Lyons.
Yes, they just brought her back, and then somebody else just debuted the other night. The one they've been showing the vignettes for.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, hey, I get it. That's great. You're signing all these great free agents, and then but the ones that have been there, it just either keeps them where they're at or pushes them down.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just like, unless they start randomly throughout the calendar year debuting NXT superstars on Raw or SmackDown, because historically they've done it after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But there's way too much talent over there now. They're going to have to change something, because I think it doesn't do them any favors, I mean, case in point, man. I saw something the other day like, oh, well, before we went on the air in St. Louis the other day, Sol Ruka defeated the Sleepy Psycho, Wendy Chu. And I was like, wait, Sol Ruka was on the pre-show? What? I was like, she was just
where she belongs.
Yeah. And I just seeing like where they've had her and the matches she's been in, and now but I think that's a result of them making all these debuts at the same time. I mean, how many new wrestlers have either returned or debuted in the past 2 months?
Too many. AEW-esque. Too many.
I mean, seriously, Julia, you said Vakir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Nikita Lyons came back. Cora Jade came back. And the girl that's coming back, or the girl that's debuting that they showed the vignettes for, and I'm pretty sure I haven't watched NXT this week, but I think they said she debuted at the end of the show. But it got cut short because CW doesn't do runovers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, man. And there's so much talent in that women's locker room. And it's only a 2-hour show. And
they're all 2-hour shows now.
Yeah, for now. I think there's too much going on Raw for them not to go back to 3 hours.
Yeah.
I know I went off there, but that is a problem that they're going to have to fix, or else they're going to.
They can't fix it. They've never been able to fix this issue. They've had this issue with the men's roster and the main roster for a long time. They don't know how to do it.
Well, no, but I disagree with that. I think if they just make that tweak, instead of, we're going to debut all these people after WrestleMania or at the draft, instead do it periodically throughout the year. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think you could easily do it too, and I think it's a simple fix, because there's certain wrestlers too, like in NXT, like they're trying, they went from like, hey, we're going to try to get this person screen time or this and that, like some of the ones with these NIL deals, and it's like you'll see them one week and then you don't see them the next.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they're having to accommodate all these new debuts they're having, and I hate it, because there's some good homegrown talent there, but they're not. I mean, I understand that Roxanne Perez is great and uber talented, but I thought there were some clear next in lines for the title, but now, I mean, 4 debuts later, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great. There's going to be some great matches, but yeah.
Makes for a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
But it also stifles other opportunities. So
correct. Yes.
We'll see what happens. And then obviously the issue of what is their ceiling? Because if the women's division is going to be crowded in the main roster, obviously NXT is supposed to be a means to an end. So then the question becomes, how do they transition them?
And we've talked about this a lot. I think some of them will have a easy transition. I think Roxanne Perez, you're not going to have to tweak anything with her character, I don't think. Who else? Probably not Julia or Vakir. And maybe a few. I think people will get tired of Kalani Jordan very quickly.
Kalani Jordan is not a main roster wrestler.
I'm saying, like, right now, no.
Never. She never will be.
I don't think I agree with that.
She will never be.
She's still young.
She's too smiley. I don't think she can be.
No. And that's the thing. Like, currently currently in this character, absolutely not. And that's not.
She's limited. She can't change it.
Now, the stuff with the dolls and all that crap with Tatum Paxley, I don't necessarily think that will translate over, but the look, and she can talk on the mic.
I think she's great versatility.
Huh?
I think she has versatility. I think that Kalani Jordan, she brings nothing to the table except for athleticism. She's done nothing with her character development. But she's done.
You can't put that on her, though. Not fully.
I could put a lot of it on her.
I would
she's
like
not
to
over
see
with the crowd.
I would. I don't know about. I would like to see. I would like to see her turn heel and see how that works.
I'm sure we're 3 months away from her being in a 4-man tag team with Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair. We're close to it. We're close to it. I don't view her the same way that you view her. I view her as being a uber person, like half their roster down there, but you've got to be able to separate the uber athletic talents to the actual wrestlers, and she's just not one of the actual wrestlers. I feel the same. I'm leaning towards that way for Sol Ruca, but I do have some hope for her.
Stop it. It's because she's white. Stop saying that. Stop being racist.
It's not the only reason. But I mean, I look at that roster. I see Julia. I need to see more of Stephanie Valkyr. I see Roxanne being able to transition to the main roster. I see there being a spot for Nikita Lyons somewhere on the main roster.
Jada Parker, I think.
Okay, yeah.
She's got the look. She's got the swag. She's not bad on the mic.
They would have to do a complete 180 on Lola Vice, but I see something there, but they have to completely change her.
I mean, and they did it for like a week or two. Remember they had her like in all black?
Yeah.
And dude, I'm telling you, and that NXT Underground fight with Shayna Baszler, that was great. Just lean into more of that. I mean, it's there.
She needs completely new music, completely new attire. Give her a mouthpiece, even maybe.
I honestly think that can be tweaked enough to where she can do some of that on. But I know the fake crying segment they had didn't do her any favors.
None whatsoever.
And hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't remember seeing any tears during that.
No. I mean, outside of that, they have a long list of wrestlers who.
Oh, hold on, what's Chase U? What's her name? Obviously, get out of that gimmick, but all she has to do is tone down the hyperness, and dude, she's ready. She's ready right now. And that's another one they're not. Why has she not wrestled? Why has she not been on television wrestling? She is a great wrestler.
They're known for doing stuff like that.
She's a very good. I don't know.
Selena Vega, they did that with.
Yeah. Gosh, why can't I think of her name? Thea Hale. There it is. Thea Hale. But who else? We were talking about her earlier. I think Fallon Henley is ready right now for the main roster. I can't believe she's not there already.
What are they going to do with her if they put her there? What they don't want is to have a situation
she's a good heel.
But they don't want to have like a Lyra Valkyria situation.
Yeah, they've dropped the ball on that one. Holy cow.
And they're just going to drop the ball with all the people that you're naming. She's not a big enough star for... She might be ready for the main roster, yes. But she's not ready to jump into that main event scene. And if you're not in the main event scene, no one cares about women's wrestling on the main roster because they don't do a good job of promoting an undercard. Maybe once we get the mid-card going, the mid-card title going, that's going to change. But they've done a terrible job of promoting the non-top stars from a women's perspective. They're doing a much better job at doing it for men. You know, I care about Fat Boy. What's his name? The Tsunami Boy. I care about him right now. Gosh, what is his name?
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I care about Bronson Reed right now. I'm going to do a good job with him. I care about...
Stop body shaming. He's Big Bone.
Fine, Big Bone. Whatever. Big Bone Boy. Triple B's. Big baller brand. Bronson Reed. I care about him. He's in the mid card. I mean, I care about the mid card men now in a way that I used to care about them when we were growing up, like the Val Venuses of the world, the Takamichinokus of the world. I care about the mid card. I used to care about Chad Gable. I don't know what they're doing with him now, but I care about these things now.
I like that group, American Made.
But they don't do anything with the women. If you're not Ripley, if you're not, who's got the other title?
Nia.
If you're not Nia, if you're not Tiffy, if you're not Bailey, they don't care about you. They barely care about Jade Cargill. They barely care about Bianca right now. So I don't know. I just don't think that there's any room for their creative team to take on these people on the main roster right now until they start caring more and making a concerted effort to promote the women's division through all levels of the card. Then just keep them on NXT and let them wrestle once every 3 weeks because they have too many people on their roster. That's what I say. What we need is good old-fashioned trades between companies. Trade like 3 of our top stars for like one of AEW's or something like that. Or not three of our top stars. 3 of our people on NXT. Trade 3 of them for whoever they have as like their top female wrestler over there. I have no idea who their top female wrestler is, but that's what I'd like to see. Just some old-fashioned trades.
Yeah. And even that's a fair point too. Even if they, kind of mirror sports stuff every now and again, like have a trade deadline or something, something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I don't know, man. I really do enjoy NXT, but there's wrestlers on there that I notice week to week, like, hey, I watched that person wrestle for like a month straight on TV, and now they're gone. Where do they get it? Yeah, where do they get it?
We talked about that last time with Javon Evans. He was just gone, and then they eventually brought him back, but like he was gone. He was wrestling like the main event of NXT. Then all of a sudden, he didn't wrestle for like a month, and then he's just back with no explanation. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep. Well, since we're here on NXT, we've had some title changes since the last time we got on here. Trick got the belt back from All Ego, and my favorite, we had the Don beat Obafemi, and that was a great match. And I'm not gonna lie, they had me fooled when he hit the spine buster and did not get the pin, and he had that look on his face like he was just defeated. I was like, oh man, they're about to have him lose again. But then he got that pin. Be kind of the roll up or whatever, but I'll tell you what, that was one of those few roll up pins that the way he did it, I was like, you know what, that actually looked pretty believable that he wouldn't be able to get his shoulders up off the mat. So kudos to them. It was a great match, and I think it's very believable for him to beat Obafemi.
I agree. I don't have a problem with it. He's a big boy.
Yeah, and
with a wrestling background.
And both of them are main roster ready right now. Granted, I don't know if the Don character is going to transition, but as a wrestler, I think, he's ready. They're both ready.
They can transition in the mid card.
But, yeah.
Mid card, lower mid card. They can transition.
And that's not happening. He's winning the titles first week.
Title run.
Oh, stop it. Don't upset me. It's too late.
Little speed title.
I just wonder if they're going to pull a Jay and Braun Breaker situation, and if they're going to have Oba get the title right back.
I don't think so. There was a good build to this. It's not like it happened abruptly with that. I mean, they built him to win that title.
Yes, they did. However, at some point, and I thought it may have happened by now, but it hasn't. I was thinking one of the family was going to turn on Tony. And I noticed in the recap of some of the highlights of NXT while it was on USA or whatever, they showed when the Don turned on whoever he had turned on. I can't remember if it was who was it. Anyways, I'll think of it later. But I was like, well, I wonder if they're showing that because he's, in one of the main spots right now, or if they did that for a little foreshadowing of what's to come.
Yeah, interesting.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering if they're going to do that. But one reason I kind of hope they don't is because I think they're probably going to put the main title or the main NXT title on Oba. So he loses, retains, and then Oba goes right into a rivalry with Trick, potentially.
I'm all tricked out, but okay. All right. Yeah. I could see it.
They'll have Oba beat Trick. So I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, but then I got to worry about Trick coming to the main roster.
Yeah. Oh, as long as we get Ethan's song about it.
Ego.
Oh, man.
It's yeah, I'm done with Trick Williams. People just overstay their welcome now at this point on NXT. I mean, we've got Braun Breaker. Other than him, what male superstars come up in the past year?
Carmelo.
Okay. Forgot about Carmelo. Anybody else? When did Carmelo come up? Didn't he come up with
draft?
Mania?
Yeah, he was the first draft pick, remember? Because I always
he started doing matches in February.
He's going down to the bottom of the card. I always remind you of that.
He's not there? Where is he?
Oh my God, here we go.
I thought he was at the bottom. Like outside of him and Braun Breaker, I feel like they just don't bring people up at the clip that they used to. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, they were doing a decent job without a couple of gripes I had. Dragunov was going to be positioned to go against Gunther.
Okay.
But, I mean, unfortunately, he got hurt. Was there somebody else? No, because they didn't call up too many from NXT this go-around.
Yeah. We also don't really get surprises anymore after WrestleMania. The Raw after WrestleMania used to be better than WrestleMania. Now we don't get anything there.
Well, that's because of them doing this drafting when they do it.
Well, they need to fix that then.
They need to fix several things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trick, though, got the title back, but they've done a good build for the rematch for this. And did you see how All Ego, did you see the triple threat when he beat Bouncy and Wesley?
Yes.
The part where, and this was just great. Is it Vic Joseph? Is that when he was like, what's his name? Javon Evans going up. And he's like, and I'm sure his grandma's smiling down on him. And then Ethan Page came up and did a move. He's like, damn it. He's like, it's like a snake in the grass waiting, like Ethan Page. And it was just perfect because when he was talking, you knew it was about to happen. It's like, oh God, they're talking this up, and now they're going to have the weasel come in there, and it was just great. Kudos to all involved in that one. That was amazing.
Yeah,
and I like some of the synchronized moves can be a little corny, but I did like the triple kick move they had where they knocked each other down with the kicks to the back of the head. Yeah. That was a pretty cool spot. That was a good match. I enjoyed that.
Ethan Page is obviously main roster ready.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to say obviously, but I believe it's obvious that he's main roster ready.
No, I think he's a very good wrestler. And my opinion, one of the best on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best rappers I've ever heard in my entire life too.
The Biggie Tupac ego.
And all I know is I want to meet the producer Pigpen of that song. So,
oh man,
but no,
that's really good stuff.
We've had some good matches, and and let's see. I know there's a lot. We've covered Bloodline. We went to that, talked about the happenings with NXT. I feel like I'm missing something here, and I just had it, and now it went away. There was something else. What else has been going on in wrestling here? I know I'm missing something major.
Kevin Owens.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. That is exactly what I wanted to bring up. What are your thoughts on how that is all?
I mean, we knew it was going to happen, so that's not a surprise or shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. They're not going to put a title back on Kevin Owens ever again. That ship has sailed, I think, for him as a wrestler. His moveset is much more limited than it was when he debuted against John Cena. I love Kevin Owens.
I do too.
This is not an indictment on Kevin Owens. This is not me saying Kevin Owens is a bad wrestler. I'm not saying any of those things. What I'm saying is that his best days in the ring, I believe, to be behind him, and I just don't see a world where they put a title on him. So by having this feud, it just seems unnecessary. I don't like feuds where it's one side has no chance of winning. I don't like feuds like that, and it happens often. It happened. It happens very often. I was going to say it happened when Solo fought Cody. I didn't believe he had any chance of winning, and he didn't win.
Yeah,
but I'll take that back. I guess there are probably some people who believe that he might have had a chance. Some idiots out there might have thought that he had a chance.
Oh, yeah. No, that whole thing went in a totally different direction than I thought it was going to go. But
yeah, I'm just not a fan of matches where the person has no chance of winning. Do you think that Kevin Owens has any chance of winning that title?
I don't know. And the reason and the reason I say that, it's like, because he hasn't won a title, I don't know if it's any title or just that, the championship, the main championship in a while. And I don't know if that's one of those things where that him getting an opportunity to be the champion again for a while is what gets him to sign a new contract, or if his creative direction or the direction they're taking him on creatively at the moment, if that's what leads him just to, just go try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I agree with you 100%. I don't like when they do those feuds where you already know what's going to happen, and they've already done that with AJ Styles and Cody. That is one we all knew AJ Styles is not going to win that one.
No.
Now the stuff with Solo and all that, I thought there was a little more question about that, just with the whole bloodline thing and this and that. And but yeah, this one though, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go, because obviously at some point it's probably going to end up being Rock, Cody, and Roman at WrestleMania, even though I don't want that. But with that said, is that going to be for a title? Because it doesn't need to be. And so could, Cody drop the belt and, somebody else get a run with it, because that feud doesn't need a title.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a potential for a title change, whether it's him or somebody else, between now and WrestleMania, just because those three fighting will sell plenty of tickets.
Yeah, that's true.
And but again, it's kind of intriguing too with the unknown of the contract situation too. And so, but no, I agree with you. I do not like those feuds where from the jump what's going to happen, or who's going to win. Yeah. I don't like that at all. That's why I like, case in point of that, like AJ Styles, we all knew he wasn't going to win, but this feud with Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, I actually am curious as to where they go with that.
Yeah.
I think that could definitely go either way, because they're trying to build up Bronson. I'm very curious to see which direction they decide to go. And I like that. I like not going into like, oh, they're going to have him win. They're going to have him win. And it's like a coin flip.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But no, I agree with you though, 100%. I don't like these matches where okay, well, we know this is going to happen. And
yeah,
I mean, Grant, obviously there's some exceptions. Like like we brought up earlier, Kofi Mania. Everybody wanted Kofi to win that title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much knew it was going to happen. But
I don't know if you wanted to. You wanted to see the people's belt.
The planet.
Or the planet's belt, yeah.
The planet, that is the greatest championship ever.
That beautiful hemp belt. That's what you wanted.
Fickle.
You were heartbroken knowing that you would never see that title again.
And little do you know, or my wife, I ordered 3 of them the other night.
I don't know if the planet would like you having 3 of those. It's waste.
Yes. Trying to think, is there I have not seen this yet, but I keep reading about it. Did you see any of Raw?
What was the main event?
Braun Breaker and Jay.
Yes.
So you saw the comment Carlito made?
Yes, I did.
Surely
the higher ups did not like that.
I was about to say, surely he went off script.
That's what they say. Yeah, and he's in trouble for it.
Okay. Now I haven't seen. I just saw what was said, and seen some. Seeing people like, oh, he just said this in 2024 and this and that, but so they're saying, the company is saying that he went off script.
Mm-hmm. He was acting a little too cool.
Oh man. Well, if that was me, I'd been fired.
I think he'll be okay.
I do too. Well, we say that. Have either one of them come out and commented?
No.
Okay. I guess it kind of depends on their reaction too, or to what may or may not happen. He's expendable.
Oh, he's definitely expendable,
and
he's not necessary in the Judgment Day storyline.
I like Carlito. I think he's a good veteran presence to have around.
I like him too, but that doesn't make him.
Oh no! And I'm saying he's definitely an asset to the locker room. But agreeing with you that in the current landscape of the company and the ongoings of the storyline, yeah, they don't. I mean, he's not needed there.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But speaking of things like that, and when it comes to racially charged things, lot of WWE's been getting a lot of flack about their positioning of black wrestlers on the card, and so recently, at least one of these individuals has publicly come out and said something. MVP debuted on AEW, followed by Shelton Benjamin. I do not know, and I don't know if you've seen something or not. I don't know if Shelton Benjamin has commented publicly on any of that. But
I have not seen Benjamin. I know Bobby Lashley did.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it seems that the standing theory is that Bobby Lashley will soon debut over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know. I haven't heard anything about a contract being signed, but I know a lot of times they'll keep some of that stuff under wraps. So believe it when I see it. But do you think that's the case with WWE?
Yeah. I've been preaching this now for months. I've been preaching it for months. Their handling of black superstars in their company, and with the Hurt Business, they never got a proper run. Why? Well, why didn't they get a proper run? They got their what they call it, Thunderdome run or whatever it was, their COVID run. Bobby Lashley, I mean, people love Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily one of those people, but people love Bobby Lashley. Kids love Bobby Lashley. He's built like a Greek god. Like, what? You got him. You got a veteran like MVP. You got Shelton Benjamin, who's athletic, and they had a good gimmick. People were liking the Hurt Business a little bit. Again, not me, but people like the Hurt Business. And if they wanted to do it and they were pitching to do it, doesn't even need to be in the main card scene. Why can't they be skirting around in the mid card? Or even like the lower.
But that's the argument, and that's what I wanted to get into. At least the stuff I've seen, I've interpreted it as that's not what a lot of people are griping about. It seems to me the gripe was not being at the top of the card. And
But
that's where I want to discuss this.
But when we're talking about the complaints that MVP and Bobby Lashley were having, I don't think that was their complaints. What you're saying might be the fans' complaints. I think that MVP was like, why are we not still doing the Hurt Business? I think that that was his issue. The fans are mad. The fans are mad that there's not any prominent African Americans at the top of the card. I think that's separate from the issue that Bobby Lashley and MVP and Shelton Benjamin were upset about, or maybe not Shelton, but MVP and Bobby Lashley. They were mad because they got the run with the Hurt Business during COVID. And then once COVID was over with, they never got the opportunity to have a Hurt Business run in front of a live crowd. And they believe that they could have been successful had they been granted that opportunity. I think that's why they were upset, that they had asked Triple H to bring back the Hurt Business, and he essentially said no. I think that was their issue. Now, the fans' issue is that there's no black wrestlers at the top of the card. I mean, but when is there ever? I know that they're upset, and I know I talk about it. I talk about it more as a joke. But
you talking about men's wrestlers or any?
I'm talking about any. And I mean, it used to be Bianca, and I'm going to talk about right now. Bianca used to be the top of the card. She's nowhere near the top of the card right now.
I disagree with nowhere near.
Okay. Well, she's closer to the bottom than she is to the top, in my opinion.
Either way, I don't agree with nowhere near for Bianca and Jade.
She's nowhere near where she was under Vince McMahon. You're not concerned about her winning a title.
With Bianca?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What title are you concerned about her winning? What title might she win?
Okay, I was like, I don't care if she's awesome.
No. I mean, like right now, she is not in a position where she's even sniffing a title in that company.
She's a tag team champion.
A real title. Stop it.
She is a women's tag team. She's a women's tag team champion.
And she won those titles from Alba Fire and Alba Dawn. Like, those aren't real titles.
And now you just gave Isla Dawn a new name.
Whatever. Isla, Isla, it doesn't matter. I don't need to learn her name. But so we got The Rock, I guess. He comes and crowds get excited. If you want to say that he's the main event.
Okay, so if their issue was just being featured prominently in any capacity on the show, okay.
It's not even them being featured. Yeah, it was just them being in the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business disbanding, them wanting to bring it back, and Triple H saying, no, we're not doing that.
Right, and being featured in front of a live audience, correct?
Yeah.
And yes, because while that was going on, that opportunity was never afforded to them, but yet Drew McIntyre was built back up to that point.
Yeah.
And he went through the same thing. Obviously it was a COVID era champion and instrumental in getting them through that Thunderdome era as well. But okay. Now that, because I was going to say, like, my only argument to that was, I like the Hurt Business. I thought it was a cool idea. I like the look they had, like all that stuff, and love MVP with the cane. They all look great. They all did. But it's not like I was clamoring to see, even though he's a phenomenal athlete, it wasn't like I was clamoring to see Shelton Benjamin matches.
No, I haven't wanted to see a Shelton Benjamin match ever, which is fine. But he is a phenomenal athlete, and I don't dislike Shelton Benjamin matches, but he's in his 40s now, and he can't do all the stuff that he used to do. But I just think that when you've been with the company for that long, because Shelton Benjamin and MVP and Bobby Lashley have been with this company forever. When you've been with the company for that long, if you want to have a stable that already existed, you should let them have the stable. It's not hurting anyone. You should just let them have it.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. They have an opportunity. There are wrestlers in NXT, when they get called up, they have an opportunity to rectify this issue. Obafemi can be a champion in this company. At the very least, he can be an Intercontinental champion.
No, that's unacceptable. He better be a champion one day, like the champion.
I hope so. Now that we've established that he's just a kid from Alabama and has no actual accent, he needs to win.
Wait, just to clarify, he was born in Africa, correct?
Oh, here we go again. I gotta edit this out now. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, I thought we said that he was, but you found the clip of him talking like a frat boy, or however you described it.
I mean, he might have been born in Africa, but it was like a situation where his parents were there on vacation. Like Kyrie Irving's from Australia. I cannot confirm when he came to the United States. He was born in Nigeria. He was born in Nigeria.
Okay.
But I don't know how long he was there for. But
so we only have to edit out one thing. Man.
But he needs to win. I don't need Trick to win, but it would be nice if he did. I think that Obafemi is going to be a much better champion than Trick will ever be in the main roster. But they have some very talented African American wrestlers or Nigerian American wrestlers or whatever it is. They have some very talented black wrestlers on NXT. And
why do you think it's that way? Why do you think it's total flip flop?
I love Triple H, but I mean, there's a common denominator here that there's one characteristic on the main roster that there isn't on NXT, and that's Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that's why I want to see what happens when these people get called up, because Shawn Michaels clearly has no problem giving them an opportunity, but Triple H might. So, and he probably says to himself, well, I've got Samoans everywhere, and that should be enough. But, I don't need any of the African Americans in the main roster in the top of the card that are currently on the main roster. I will say that.
Okay, but I guess my question is it really a Triple H thing? Because let's go back to NXT when he was running NXT.
Okay.
Bianca was the champion, was she not?
I would assume she was.
We know Sasha Banks was.
We do know Sasha Banks was, but that's Snoop Dogg's cousin. She's real light skin.
I'm trying to think, like, who...
Give me a man.
No, I'm trying to think, because I watched a lot during the Black and Gold, but not as much as I do now.
So it'll be Apollo Crews, maybe.
I don't believe he ever won
a title or anything.
I don't believe he did. Now,
did Montez didn't do anything by himself, did he?
No, they were always the Street Profits, I believe. But they were prominently featured, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I know I'm missing somebody.
But the other thing you got to ask yourself, when he was in charge of NXT,
Wesley was prominently featured as North American champion. I think that was under Triple H. I think before he got hurt.
How much control did he have while Vince McMahon was still there? Do we think he had complete autonomy?
But everybody was saying Vince, or not. Maybe everybody. But wasn't that always the same gripe about Vince McMahon? The same thing? So then why was it happening?
Okay. That's fair.
But but I get it. In terms of the arguments, though, or the statements made by MVP and Bobby Lashley, once you told me what it appears the context is of that, you can't argue that. I mean, these are guys that have been in the business a long time. It was a crew well liked by the fans, and but then again, like we were talking about, you have NXT and then looking back, and okay, whether it was truly Triple H or truly Vince, the same thing has been said about both now. And then I guess in essence does Shawn Michaels have full control of NXT?
They say he does.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I don't know if he does.
Okay.
But they say he does.
Okay. And you gotta think some report would have come out by now if Triple H was changing stuff creatively.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But yeah, and I guess that's the only thing that confuses me about it all is, some of the wrestlers that were prominently featured during the Black and Gold, whether it was Triple H or Vince McMahon, the argument's been made about both. But I do agree that yes, if those guys, if they wanted that crew to reform and get back together and have a run in front of fans, and I don't see why they didn't make that happen.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But yeah, we will see. Dude, you got to think, though, at some point, Bianca is going to be back up there. And when her and Jade feud, that's good. Because it's got to happen. One of them's got to turn on the other soon. And I think
Why
that's
did it
going to.
have to happen? I mean, I think that the fact that it had to happen points to one of the issues, and that's the main issue I've had is the way that he always wants to put
the booking of it is just.
the
Me
black
and
on
you
black.
text about that all the time.
Yeah, like why couldn't it have been Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley? Why did it have to be Bianca? Why did she have to be in a tag team with Bianca? Why couldn't she have been in a tag team with Ripley or something like that? Why did it have? I'm just trying to think of some.
Oh, okay.
Why did we know why?
Why?
Because it's got to be black and black, and I don't know why Triple H has an insistence on that being a case.
Hey, what was the really bad one we talked about recently? It was it was some match I texted you about. I was like, they just had this.
I mean, they do it so much. I'm not even sure which one.
Was it when they had Bianca and Jade come out and help Kalani Jordan?
Why can't she help Fallon Henley or someone like that? Why does it have to be Kalani Jordan? Why does Odyssey Jones have to exist? Why do we have these things? Or why did he exist for that week that he existed? Why? I mean, Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin was like the only hope. The only hope that they had.
Hey, where have they been? Where have
exactly.
they been?
He probably said, "Oh, this isn't working. The fans didn't like it after one episode, so we got to do this." Apollo, you're going with Obafemi next week. That's what's going to happen.
I guess Carmelo has been feuding with Andrade, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, Carmelo, that sounds.
And then I'm trying to think, but yeah, man. And but granted, I think it's a little different in NXT because there's a lot of minorities have been featured at the top.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But still, I mean, the stuff we joke about is about to happen, though, with Oba and Trick, presumably. But again, I think that's a little bit different, though.
We'll see how they handle those two. We'll see how Oba gets handled. Triple H has an opportunity to right a wrong because he's going to have two people. Again, if Triple H wants to make the argument that there isn't a male African-American who's ready for the top of the card, I would agree with him. He's right. But when Obafemi and Trick Williams come up, if they're getting the same reactions that they got in NXT, he's not going to have that excuse to go back on. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. But I would love to see Oba versus Gunther.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be amazing. I mean, there's no person that I really want to see Trick fight, but I would love to see Oba versus Gunther. That would be great. Trick versus Braun, maybe. I don't know. Breaker. I'm sure that probably happened while he was down there at some point. I'm sure that they fought numerous times, but whatever. It is what it is. But I'd like to see that. Even giving him an Intercontinental title scene, I'm fine with that. That's fine. But let them fight somebody who's white. Don't have them both come up and just have them fight each other because that's the easy thing to do. But let's make it happen, Triple H. But I think that's a good ending point. I think we've rambled on now for 90 minutes. I think that is a good ending point to end the Jordan episode of the Golden Squeeze podcast, number 45, the number that he is known most for. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that bell icon, like and subscribe. We'll see you in episode 46 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. Let me see if I remember how to do this.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, creep it up.